The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. With your hosts, Joe Bond.
You're awful.
And AJ Applegarth.
It's Sin Shu Chu. It's a mouthful.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, AJ Applegarth. What is up, man?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I don't even
realize display names were missing, so I just threw them up there. But our display names were missing. I just put them back up there. I don't know why those were gone. That was weird. I was like, something looks odd. Anyway, I know you had a lot of crap happen to you tonight, so we're just gonna not talk about that. But hey,
yep,
we got football.
All good.
Football.
Nothing.
Real, actual games that count. Football.
Nothing I can't handle. Just another kick in the dick.
So we got Bills and Rams right now. We're about 40 seconds ish before the end of the first half. It is 10-7 Bills. There's been a few turnovers in this game. A fumble, 2 interceptions by Allen, an interception by Stafford. It hasn't been the cleanest game, but the over-under on this game was like 50-something, I believe. Yeah. So they are well under pace at this point.
Yeah.
I kind of expect things to pick up, right? Second half adjustments. You get the first game jitters out of the way, right? So I expect things to pick up. There have been some very interesting things going on here, and really the big thing is the running backs, right? So if you look at the running backs, the Rams, take for instance, right? Who projected Darrell Henderson having 7 carries to Cam Akers 2? Not me. And then Singletary's getting the bulk of the work there, at least as far as running the ball, but it is not James Cook, who, by the way, is the one who fumbled. It's Zach Moss, 2 carries, but he's gotten 4 receptions. Okay.
Coaches are just like, hey, fantasy guys, go after yourselves.
Yeah, pretty much. And then receiving, I think, to me, obviously Cup is obviously the man. He's already got 7 receptions for 57 and a touchdown. So just doing Cup thing, right? He's fine. Gabe Davis having a good day, 3 for 41 at a touch. Diggs 6 for 62. That's fine.
Okay,
it's kind of those secondary guys, right? And the one that I'm most interested in, because I drafted him pretty much everywhere, and I finally had to start telling myself, take somebody different, right? Was Allen Robinson. He's got 1 target, 1 reception for 12 yards. I just believe if this offense is really going to get going, they need to get Allen Robinson going too. I think still too early to panic, obviously, but that's not a good.
I already traded him
there, so
he's gone, dropped.
I already dropped him. So all right, well, we gotta, we'll give some. You're gonna see me if you guys have not watched these shows during the season. You're gonna see me turn left a lot because my TV's over there. I unfortunately cannot figure out a way to put it in front of me. It would be like the middle of my living room if I did that. Or the middle of my basement. That's just not going to work. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk some rankings. We're going to do some strategy talk, some hot topics and the injuries. Get you ready for week 1 of your fantasy football seasons. Before we do that, though, hit that subscribe button, that like button. Leave those comments. Leave those reviews. We appreciate it. And then, guys, I know – we were pimping out those memberships during the off season for drafting and things like that. But look, we've all drafted our teams, but the work doesn't stop. You still need advice. You still need start sit questions. You need trade questions answered. You get in on the website, fantasy6pack.net/plans. We still got a few of those promo codes available to F6P early for 25% off. So go ahead and use that before it runs out. First 100 members. And then, you get the content, you get the rankings, you get best of all, you get the Discord channel where you get direct contact to me, to AJ, to Dave Eddy, who's our DFS master over there. You got we got John LaPresto with Dynasty stuff. We got tons of other great writers over there sitting there willing to answer your questions for your team. So we write content for the masses. The Discord's for you. That's what you want to get in on. So anyway, man, let's do our on cue beer of the week.
Beer.
What you got?
Well, since it's a bit of an anniversary for us to do yet another new football season, we're not quite up to this number yet, but I'm drinking the Stone 26th anniversary Imperial IPA, a triple dry hopped Imperial IPA, 26 years in the making, 9.7 alc/vol in a 12-ounce can. Delicious.
I'm gonna have to find that one.
Quite a Stone delicious, but it's better.
Yeah, I think I did their 25th anniversary last year, and it was really good. So I'm gonna have to make sure I try to go find that one.
If you can't, let me know. I will be getting more.
Yeah. Probably just a safe bet just to grab it. Anyway, because I just kind of restocked yesterday for probably a couple of weeks at least. So I don't know. Next time I'll be going back out. But anyway, I am drinking the last of the beers that I picked up from my beach trip over the summer. Burlington Beer Company. It's complicated being a wizard. And yeah. Cool little can art there.
Oh, yes, I saw that one. I actually almost got that. And I was like, where have I seen this damn can before?
Yeah, it's a double IPA. Have I had it on the show? I don't think I did.
I don't know if you had it on the show, but
no,
I don't remember. At least maybe you did.
I don't think I did.
I think I just
I've been saving this one for a couple of weeks just for the show.
Yeah,
but anyway, I forget what my rating was. I apparently forgot to keep putting it into Untapped, but
let me drink and re-rate.
It gets actually a really good rating on Untapped, but I'm not a big fan of it. It's got a really harsh bite at the end. It's kind of like some of these beers kind of stings after it, that kind of aftertaste. That's what this has, and I forget what hops does that to me. This probably has it in. I feel like it's the Montezuma hops or something like that. I'd have to look at it, but it's not my favorite. This has Simcoe, Idaho's. Oh, Chinook. That's what it is. I am not a Chinook hops guy. I feel like every beer that has that. It's a solid 3.5. It's right there. But there's plenty better in my opinion. So anyway,
former producer Jeff Hicks will be proud for your.
I know he checked in a beer earlier today, 3.5. Nice. And I almost applauded him for actually rating a beer higher than 2.25 because that's what he does.
You're growing.
Anyway, man. So like I said, we're gonna be jumping in. We're gonna be doing a new format this season for the season long show, right? And we're going to be going each week. We're going to be running through my weekly rankings, and dissecting those. You guys can kind of grill me, whatever you and LaPlante. LaPlante's going to jump in at that time and kind of grill me with questions, kind of question some of my things or whatever, and some of my rankings. But first, man, I want to just jump into some general strategy talk here, and. It's always a good, and we said this on that strategy show that we did back in July 6th or whatever it was. We went through a lot of this, but specifically for me, like week 1 strategy, I think it's probably like 95%. You're just kind of you're starting the guys you drafted earlier, right? There's not a whole lot of scenarios where I'm going, oh, well, I drafted, these 2 running backs first. I've got 2 running back slots, but I'm going to start this other guy that I put on the bench. That doesn't usually happen, right? Unless there's an injury or you drafted really early and there's like all of a sudden we got like a whole bunch of news where the guy you drafted as your RB2 is probably not going to start, or maybe like roles have changed. That type of stuff is really the only reason why I really go against the order that I drafted these players. So you can overthink it in week 1 and kind of, overcomplicate it for yourself. I guess maybe the only case would be like your flex, right? Especially with like 2 flexes. You can, obviously you probably drafted a whole bunch of guys that could fit in there. So that's where you're playing matchups and things like that. But I think your main roster spots are pretty locked in for the most part. Would you agree or disagree, AJ?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I am definitely one to fall victim to overanalyzing and overthinking my week 1 lineups, because you want to start out with a win out of the gate. Obviously it's a long season. You can make up a loss here and there, but you don't want to put up an L on the first week. You never want to be that guy. So just go with the KISS theory, keep it simple, sucker. And just you drafted these guys for a reason. Whether it's following ADP, following your gut, just because you like a certain team, whatever it may be, but don't overthink it. You got to start the guys you want. I almost didn't start Stafford tonight because I was like, you got the elbow.
Depends on who your second quarterback is, but he's not super high ranked for me.
No. Well, yeah. I'd be looking at like a Davis Mills or no one that's like,
or you mean like a Carson Wentz, that trade that you just saw go through in the draft night out league? Oh yeah, goodness.
No. I don't know if it actually did go through. I think it's going through tomorrow.
That's just talk about overreact. Like we do the overreaction show in week 2 usually, right? Because that's when people are freaking out over week 1 results.
Oh God, I'm 0-2.
Talk about overreacting to a elbow injury in the off season with Matthew Stafford, and somebody is apparently trading Matthew Stafford for Carson Wentz straight up in the draft night out leagues. And that's just,
I did end up going on the message board and chatted, or the chat board, whatever it is, and like asked about it. I was like, not necessarily knocking the trade, just curious what
you are. You are. And you should be, because that trade's horrible.
Yeah. Now, again, there is the follow-up trade where the guy giving up Stafford also gave up AJ Dillon for Lenny Fournette.
Yeah, but that's not nearly as.
It's not
the talent there. The difference there is not Wentz to Stafford. Like, no, get out of here. No, that's silly. But back to the strategy talk. So just some other things real quick. I don't want to harp on this too much. You guys can go back and watch our fantasy football strategy show that we did over here on the YouTube channel or wherever you listen. We put it up there as well. But just kind of reiterate a few of those things, a few of those points that we made there. It's, stay up on news, right? Be active on the waiver wire. Like, you do not want to be the person who misses the waiver wire Wednesday every single week, right? Or multiple times. You will fall behind. You're not going to win your league if you miss that. Throw out trade offers, right? Be active. And don't set your lineup purely based on rankings. And I know it's weird for me to say that because I'm a big rankings guy, but sometimes, especially when the decision is close, right, there are cases where I'm going to say, look, your 2 running backs, your 2 receivers, even your flex is like top notch. Your quarterback is good. Your tight end, you can go upside with your wide receiver 3 or flex or whatever it is. Like you can kind of play with it if it's close, right? I mean, you just have to know who you're playing, what you need, that kind of stuff. Sometimes you've got to go with what you need to get the win. So, trying to think of some other things. I don't know. Feel free to just jump in with any other quick strategy tips here, AJ.
Piggybacking off of that, I mean, I'm a big strength of schedule guy. So I do look at the matchups a lot and weigh that into how I'm setting my lineups. If it's a no-brainer top tier guy or, top 2 tiers even, and he's going up against a team that's a tough matchup for him, okay, whatever. He's still going to get the ball. He's still going to get volume.
Volume is key.
Yeah, he may not necessarily hit where you hope he does if he had an easier matchup, but you're gonna roll with it and still be okay with it. Like no one's coming in, Monday morning quarterback as, oh well, yeah, check me out. I put Joe Mixon on the bench because he had a tough matchup, and I rolled with Damian Pierce and he beat him by 0.7 points.
Yeah,
check me out. Like,
nah,
I mean. Up.
Yeah,
who cares? You still lost your matchup.
You want to use the matchups for like the close decisions. I mean, you're playing your top end guys, even if Joe Mixon plays, the Rams, right, who have a really top notch run defense. You're still playing him because the volume's going to be there, and that's another thing to consider. It's just volume is key in the sport. So you need to just find out who's playing, who's not, but. I mean, look, there's all sorts of things that, you just really, it's just paying attention, being active, setting your lineups. Another big thing is never play your Thursday night players in your flex spot ever, unless you somehow have to, which I don't see how that happens. But because, and for those of you who are probably going like, but why? Like, it doesn't matter. He still is in my starting lineup. Well, what happens, right, is Sunday morning, those injuries come out, right? And so you can get surprised with a starting. So if you put your 3rd running back in your flex and one of your starting running backs gets hurt, but you don't have any good running backs on your bench and you would have rather subbed in a receiver for that guy, now you can't. But if you had put your Thursday night player in your running back spot and then your RB2 in your flex who got hurt, you can then make the swap. Honestly, it's a rookie mistake. And it's something that people just don't think about. So I actually posted that on the Discord channel. I just reminded everybody, because it's early season, people are probably not really thinking about it. I actually had to move like Isaiah McKenzie into my wide receiver 3 spot and moved my wide receiver 3, who, clearly is ranked higher than him. Is not rankings. It doesn't really matter. Like, your lineup is not your rankings. They're going to get you points no matter where you put them, but you just need the roster flexibility. That's what it gives you. So that's a big, big strategy point for me. So I think we can move on, AJ, if you are ready.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
So we got some hot topics, and be honest, Mike LaPlante threw this whole show together for us. Thankfully, I've had a crazy week. So I'll just read it off here, I guess. Or Mike, do you want to present them, I guess?
I mean, that just gives you more reason to use me as a scapegoat.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Fine. Go ahead, man. Be the voice from the sky. Present the question.
All right. So, guys, with the news of Zach Wilson possibly being out till at least week 4, what are we thinking about doing with Jets position players in the meantime with Joe Flacco starting?
Do you want to take that one, Joe? Or do you
Yeah,
want me to
I'll
lead
take it
off
first.
with it?
Yeah, I mean, so they obviously all get a bit of a knock down, in my opinion, but maybe not as much as you think. I mean, I think a lot of people were hoping for a good sophomore campaign from Zach Wilson. You know, we saw some flashes of him being a good fantasy player, but I'm not really sure he's like a stud, you know, or not, definitely not a stud, but, you know, I'm not sure he's still going to be a reliable NFL quarterback. And so, you know, you had to temper your expectations with guys like Elijah Mitchell and Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis. And so you did, like, you saw them going kind of in that wide receiver 3, sometimes even farther, you know, well, not sometimes, but usually lower than that range. You know, the running backs, Breece Hall got a lot of love early, but really stopped getting, you know, the love because he wasn't really going to be, he's now not the starter or whatever they're calling it. So there's that. So I don't know if Flacco being there really changes a whole lot. I mean, Flacco's maybe not got the upside that Zach Wilson, or we hope Zach Wilson has, but he's a capable NFL quarterback still, and he's going to get the ball to these guys. It's just not going to be a great offense for a little while, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was another thing that I was looking at a lot this week, because there is a lot of revenge games, so to speak, and not necessarily on purpose. Obviously, the Denver,
no, they are.
Well, they are, but
they are. The NFL's smart like that.
Yeah. But I mean, the NFL wasn't thinking, oh, well, Zach Wilson's going to get injured. Oh, wait, they signed Flacco. Okay, let's make this work.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
Like that. That's what I mean by it. But obviously, the Denver and Seattle game was meant to be, and it's going to be ugly. But yeah, I mean, this Jets offense. I mean, hey, Joe Flacco's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He had a miraculous postseason that year. Since then, well, he's kind of been Joe Flacco. So, like,
yeah,
you don't go back and you're like, oh, Joe Flacco's a Super Bowl guy, and then, you know, he was awesome. I mean, he's an average quarterback. He's smart. He knows, you know, what he's doing back there. He's a veteran presence, which I think is actually nice for the Jets because they're such a young team.
Yes.
But I agree. I don't think I'm necessarily knocking everybody down, you know, out of my starting lineup just because Joe Flacco's there. Again, I'm going to be looking at matchups. I'm going to be looking at, you know, I'm going to be looking at this first week really to see.
Yeah, this first week is rough, but
yeah,
you know,
I mean, it's definitely a tough revenge game going back against Baltimore. I mean, how many guys here are like just licking their chops, like, yeah, we get to just smack Joe in a game now.
I mean, they get Cleveland, Cincy, and Pittsburgh. That's not a great start for the Jets, man.
No, it's not.
Actually,
it's like,
pretty rough schedule.
Oh, wait, you've already played all of these teams and you've had some decent success. So yeah, this could work.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. But
I mean, like, really, the only startable guys, you know, I'll still start Elijah Moore. I'm kind of out on Wilson right now. Corey Davis is not really startable either. The running backs, who knows, man? Like, I guess, you know, Hall, we're hoping Hall is good and just going, you know, the talent will shine there, but it's a rough start, man. I've got these guys outside of Moore. I pretty much all have those two running backs. Like, at best, they're like flex type players.
Yeah.
I have a lot of guys ranked ahead of them who weren't, especially for Hall, ranked ahead in the draft rankings, but
yeah, I mean, I was pretty high on Hall coming into the year. You know, I was buying into the hype. I didn't really get to draft him in a lot of places, though.
It took him a couple of times.
Everyone was jumping on it way quicker than I really felt comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I did take him last night in the F6P league because again, I just didn't have any shares, and I was like, I need to get something on this guy. And then I was like, this is still the Jets. this could go very badly, but it is what it is. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Next question.
So next hot topic there, Mike.
The plant.
All right, I guess. You mean you guys really seemed infatuated with talking about the Jets, so I was going to let you go.
Nope, we ended it.
All right, we'll move on.
Then we stopped.
We'll move on to, just a step above the Jets, maybe. All right. With the news of James Robinson being active behind Travis Etienne for week 1, of course, in a limited fashion, does this raise any concerns for starting Etienne in week 1?
No.
No. I don't think it really does. Again, James Robinson, another guy drafted last night, because I just haven't had enough shares of him, at all. And I love Etienne this year. I think because of how these two backs have played, again, knowing Etienne only from his college play, but what we've seen out of Robinson, Robinson's been a very good running back on a very bad team. But he's still performed. He's been pretty reliable aside from the injury issues. I'm not worried this week because I think that these two backs have enough of a different style of play that there's enough room for both of them to succeed in this offense under Peterson. You saw it with the Eagles. Peterson likes to use all of his weapons. He's not like you got to go with this guy. He's the hot hand. You can only go with this guy. He doesn't really believe in that shit. And it's good for fantasy. Well, it's great for fantasy because then your guys are going to get opportunities, but it's also good for football in general because it keeps your guys rested. It keeps them hungry. In my mind, it keeps them, on their toes. Like, when is my chance? Is it coming? All right, fine. I got to perform, because they know, well, they may get, pushed out, but they're still going to get another chance.
Yeah.
And their time's going to come. And, Robinson's still dealing with the injury.
He's going to be active, but
he's going to be active, but is he going to be active?
Right. That's my worry. But I'll give my take here in a second, but I do want to answer Trey's question here. So it's James Conner this week, full PPR versus Kansas City, or Michael Thomas versus Atlanta. I think this one's easy. You go Conner. The workload's going to be there. I was fine drafting Thomas because, he's coming back, and, you could typically, if you drafted this way, you could typically get Thomas as wide receiver 3, sometimes wide receiver 4. So you're not heavily relying on him if he does bust and doesn't work out. But, I am worried about Thomas' first game back. And just how, again, we're talking about with Robinson, like how active he's going to be. He was dealing with a hamstring injury this offseason. I know the matchup plays in favor for Thomas, but it's James Conner, 99 times out of 100 for me. Like, I probably more. So, any difference?
Full PPR, it's a little closer for me, but because I'm a big Thomas fan, or was, got kind of burned out on him because of the injuries and whatnot. But Connor has his own injury issues too.
Yeah, but
I think
you got to roll with him when he's healthy. He's got that backfield. That backfield's his.
It is his. So. I think it's still Connor in my mind.
Yep,
it's closer.
All right, so my quick take on James Robinson, and you kind of said a lot of the same things I did. It's really just. Look, he's going to be active, but he's 9-ish months away from tearing an Achilles.
Yeah.
So that, look, we saw Cam Akers come back from the Achilles injuries last season in 8.5 months, and saw how ineffective he was early on. And he's still ineffective. Now the Bills defense is really, really good. Better than Washington's, although Washington's front is good. I mean, they're not going to have Chase Young, but it's still pretty stout. I still think Washington's defense is going to be better than people think this year. And then especially when Chase Young can come back, it's going to just be even better. I think they're just – I just had to believe last year was just like – I don't know what happened last season. But anyway, Etienne, I mean, talented guy. He's got the connection with his quarterback, Lawrence, from college days. I have to believe that Etienne is going to be the primary running back for that team. Maybe not primary rusher once Robinson gets in the flow of things, but especially week 1, I think he will be. But as the season progresses, I think we're going to see Robinson get more involved. But Etienne's going to be the one you still want. He's going to get all those those dump offs and underneath throws. They're gonna find a way to get Etienne the ball, in my opinion. And we know from watching him plenty of times in Clemson as ACC fans that he's the real deal.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he's damn good. So I think we got the last question here.
All right, last one.
You want me to be quick because I actually kind of already said it. Oh, did McKenzie score?
Yep.
Yes, I was relishing in McKenzie making up for the interception.
I started McKenzie, and I think I drafted him in a few best balls. I lost track.
All right, but on to the next question here. And you kind of brought it up a little bit with Cam Akers, but how do we see the backfield for the Rams playing out? I mean, we're kind of seeing it now between Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson for week 1 and the continuing season.
I mean, look, I still thought Akers was going to get more work. Week 1 is not telling us that story, though. I turned the page and went, oh, that's not how I expected the story to go. We're 8 carries to 2. And Cam Akers, how many yards does he have on those carries? 0. Not good. Now the Bills offense, the Bills defense is really good. So, it's whatever. But Henderson is just he's getting a lot more of the work, and so it is what it is. I think as of now, I'm not cutting Akers, but I'm not going to panic and cut him. I'm not going to trade him for at this point a super low value, but would I put him on my bench if I have at least somebody capable behind him? Yeah, I probably would. I think I want to wait and see with him. I want to see how this goes because this isn't a good sign.
No, it's definitely not. And I have a lot of Cam Akers shares. Not necessarily actually on purpose, but yeah, probably on purpose.
I feel like I didn't get a lot of him. I have him in a dynasty league, and that's about it. But I don't know. As the offseason went on, I just started getting this really bad feeling from him, and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna not draft him. I'm just gonna take the next guy. And seems like that was a good decision so far. So. We'll see. I mean, it's a long season. Week 1, we see crazy things in week 1 all the time where it's like, oh no, this is gonna happen, and then it pretty much just becomes that was just week 1. The coaches were pretty much just, for lack of a better word, they were just fucking with us. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So, yeah. All right, man. Well, let's jump into these rankings. And so, again, this is the first time we're doing this kind of format of the show. I'm going to let you guys decide. You, AJ, and how do you guys want to do this? You guys want to alternate asking me or just AJ doing it? How do you guys want to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in here. I'll let Mike have his little buddy time, and watch
buddy time. Okay.
I am having a good time with my football.
Or you mean he wrote all the questions, and so
That
you want him to do it?
Are you watching football? Are you doing something else with a football? Never mind.
All the above.
Yes. Well, that chick does not look happy.
That's
anyway.
Stafford's wife.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. I can't.
Anyway, let's jump into the rankings talk.
All right. So,
Alrighty then.
question 1, we will start with the QB position. And with a juicy matchup against the Raiders in week 1, why is it that you have Bobby Herbert as your QB5 behind,
otherwise known
obviously,
as Justin
Josh
Herbert?
Allen? Oh, wrong Herbert. My bad.
Right.
Why do you have him still ranked behind Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patty Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, look, I mean, we're splitting hairs here with these top quarterbacks at this point, right? So when I did the rankings, right, I looked at, could I put Josh Allen down a couple? Yeah, but that looks like it would have been a terrible decision. So I'm glad I didn't do that, even though he's throwing 2 picks. One wasn't his fault for sure. Lamar gets the Jets. So yeah, he's going to eat, dude. Mahomes gets Arizona, which, yeah, I mean, I know we're all sort of questioning what Mahomes is going to do with a lack of, talent at receiver. I just think it's still Mahomes. And Arizona, not a great defense. They have a good offense. This could be a shootout type of game, man. I think Mahomes is going to do very, very well. Hurts gets Detroit. I just like it for him a lot. And so, yeah, Herbert just kind of fell into that 5th spot. I mean, Vegas, they don't have a juggernaut defense, but it's not horrible. Max Crosby sitting there, and those division games too, those get you sometimes, right? It's crazy things happen in those division games. So I honestly could put him at 6 below my next, which is Murray, and I wouldn't bat an eye, but I could also put him 2, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like, those guys are not separated by a lot of points in my rankings. So it is what it is. You don't have all 5. Nobody's got 2 of those guys, and if you do, you drafted wrong. So you're starting Herbert, right? So like that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, I get the question of why do I have him 5th, because it looks weird when you look at it, but
it's not though.
But I mean, it's just the matchup and just kind of the way the things fell. Like we're splitting hairs there when it comes to the points.
Yeah. All right. So sticking with the quarterback position here, looking at Tom Brady, and now this matchup with Tampa and Dallas is kind of interesting because obviously they're 2 of the bigger name quarterbacks here. You've got Brady at 9, you've got Dak at 12. I mean, I think that's pretty fair, but what was your mindset in putting Brady that far down, knowing that he's the GOAT? He refuses to go the hell away. He even retires and then comes back because he doesn't like his family enough to like hang out with them, other than maybe his son that he makes out with. But I don't know. What's your thought process with that ranking? I thought that one was interesting.
Yeah, so with that one, right, it's a lot of the same concerns that we have with why Brady is dropping in the draft rankings, right? Earlier on this off season, let's say July, right before camp opened, you saw Brady pretty regularly ranked 6, 7. So, but now with all those O-line issues, We're not really sure still if Godwin's going to actually play, so that's a huge factor. We know Evans is there, Julio's there, but I mean, what are we really going to get from Julio? Nobody's totally sure. It's just a multitude of factors here again. And Dallas, like, they allowed quite a few points last year. But they were really good at turnovers. And so where I know like that's not Brady's thing, but I mean, you never know, right? I mean, they could get crazy, and I mean, look, the real issue, right, is the O-line. I mean, what's the one way we've seen over Tom Brady's entire career? What's the one way to beat him?
Pressure.
Hit him in the mouth, right? Get in his face. That's how everybody
play the
gets
NFC
it.
East, but well, I mean, that's up there.
But I mean, look, Dallas last year allowed 14. I don't know what scoring category that is. Let's just do. Well, it doesn't matter because it's quarterbacks. They allowed 14.3 fantasy points. Oh, that's preseason. Dang it! I'm looking at the wrong. I was like, that seems really low. That doesn't make any damn sense.
Dallas also sucks. So
15.9 fantasy points to the quarterback last year.
It's not a great number.
Which is,
that's pretty damn good because of their defense.
It's actually seventh best.
Yeah.
So I mean, could they? They're not gonna stop Tom Brady, but could they limit him from having a phenomenal game? Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely think they could. And then looking at again, this game last year, early season it might have even been the first week last year too. I can't remember, but it was a great game. I mean, it was a back and forth shootout game. I can see that happening again. I think it would be a little less high scoring than it was because some of the players aren't there. Again,
right.
You already talked about
as much as I don't want to admit it, Cooper's not there, Gallup's not there, but Cooper does make a difference, at least on the NFL field. He's just not.
And that's going to hurt CD Lamb's production because everyone's going to be keying in on him.
Yes and no.
Well,
but yeah.
Comparative to if Gallup was on the field and if Cooper was still in Dallas. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, you also got to imagine like every target is going to go his way. But yeah, I digress. That's why I ranked him where I did. Again, you got Burrow and Wilson ahead of him. Wilson's playing Seattle, who they're just not very good anymore. It's
ever
behind
since
him.
That guy left. I mean, Seattle's atrocious.
Would you take a chance on like a Trey Lance or even a Rodgers behind him? I mean, Rodgers has the same problems as Brady does now. That's the thing. So
Rodgers is old. He doesn't have his safety nets that he's used to,
right?
Outside of the running backs, really. Lazard's kind of banged up. And a question mark. Oh wait, he has Sammy Watkins, and he's really good in week 1. So,
so there's a chance.
Okay, so I'd still keep Rodgers ahead. But yeah, no, I
like it. No,
I agree with the rankings. I wouldn't. I don't think I would switch either of those guys too much. Ahead of one way or the other.
Again, I'm sure. I mean, I'm not going to be 100% right. I never have been, never will claim to be. If anybody does, they're lying their ass off. But it's just these are all really good quarterbacks. So you gotta pick and choose your spots. You gotta pick and choose with the matchups and just random things like offensive line and that matters. Like those matchups matter. But I need to get LaPlante in here asking the next questions here because these actually are his questions. So I'm gonna make you come back, LaPlante. I'm sorry.
Here, what?
That's fine. All right.
You get the running backs. AJ will take the receivers.
That's fine. All right. So on to the running backs. I mean, again, we're going to stick to a theme here, and we're going to talk about Travis Etienne. All right. Did you have trouble trying to rank Etienne with the tough matchup against the Commanders and the news we already talked about with the touches possibly being taken away?
I mean, it's not easy ranking anybody per se, but I mean, I'm just trying to figure. Like, I actually want to look at where I am in comparison to the ECR here. So the ECR, for those of you who don't know, is the expert consensus rankings over on Fantasy Pros, where I actually submit my rankings to. So the consensus is right at running back 18, and where do I have him? Running back 19. So I'm one below it.
Terrible.
I know. I suck. I'm not. I'm what? Maybe that makes me less than average. I don't know. I don't really know how that works. No, I mean,
are you calling experts average? Because that's a bold statement.
I think some of the people that rank on there would love to be average. I'm an asshole.
Sorry, it's Mike's question. I'll stop talking.
No, you're good. No, you know what though? Like, to be real, you want to say the Washington Commanders have a good run defense, and to where I think they're going to be better. They still struggled pretty bad last year. I mean, they were middle of the pack, 22 points to the running back. And as we I'm not going to go long-winded because we just did on this, but I still think Etienne's going to see the bulk of the work. And especially in any sort of point per reception, even if it's just half, Etienne's the guy there. And I have no issue starting him over plenty of guys, including our man who's running tonight, Cam Akers, who I have him ranked ahead of. So thank God I did that.
Yeah, I specifically moved Cam Akers out of a flex spot into a starting spot.
I mean, 0 is going to be 0 no matter where you put it, right?
We just talked about people moving out of flex spots on Thursday night games.
I know, I get it. But I'm just saying, your 0 is going to be the 0 no matter where you put it. Anyway, I'm kidding. I'm just
probably like point.
Busting your balls. Jesus, man, calm down. All right, next question.
Yeah, at least you still have the flexibility of throwing a wide receiver in there.
And now honestly, man, you can now
Above
you're gonna have to make
Mixon or Swift.
Oh,
no,
yeah, no, you're starting those guys. All right,
I can't attest to those decisions.
Let's do the next question, Mike.
All right, on to the next. This one's just straight and to the point. Joe, why so much hate for Breece Hall, running back 33 against the Ravens, man? Like,
I think we're
talking about an early second-round draft pick here. I mean, I know Michael Carter's in the mix, but we know Breece Hall is going to be the main guy, right?
Is he, though? I mean, I think we alluded to this earlier, too, where we just kind of read, and I didn't. I'll be honest. You told me to read these questions. I didn't. It's been a shitty week, man.
Catch up.
So no, it's but that actually makes for better radio. Like, I don't know what the questions are, so I gotta, I can't like come prepared with like the boring like, but blah 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 blah. Like, I just gotta come up with the answer on the fly. So it makes for better radio. I like it. All right, better shows. Whatever. We're not on the radio. I'm pretending. Breece Hall. Yes, I mean, I think we all want him to be the guy. And actually, somebody asked about him on Discord earlier tonight, and I answered, you cannot confidently start Breece Hall right now, in my opinion, unless your running back 2 or your flex options are just atrocious. I think we're in a wait and see mode with him. They've already, the coaches have come out and said that Michael Carter is actually the starter. Breece Hall did not look good in the preseason, and I know it's preseason, but here's the thing. The couple of things I look for in the preseason, right, is these guys in position battles, right? You want, your third receivers or your second receivers for these teams. You want them to look just exponentially better than the guys that they're battling with for that position, right? You want rookies to look good especially if they're going to play deeper into the preseason game where they're going to be playing against backups, right? Breece Hall did not look good. So there's just not a whole lot to really like about him right now. And with the Jets coming out and saying that they're going to use Michael Carter as their de facto starter right now, he's got to drop down the list. And AJ, you said it too, right? I took like an early share of him or two, and then like as the camps and preseason started going on, he was kind of on my do not draft list after a while because he was just going at a place where I wasn't comfortable taking him. Could he have an end of the season like we saw 2 seasons ago with Jonathan Taylor where he just blew up at the end? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But tell me how many of those teams that drafted Jonathan Taylor where they did, because Jonathan Taylor is a stud, as we know. Tell me how many of those teams made the playoffs and actually did well in those leagues. Probably not very many, because you get hurt with the draft capital you spent on these players that aren't going to be good until week 9. That's hard. That's really hard.
You got to have a hell of a team.
Yes, you do. You're breaking up a little bit, AJ. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Hopefully it's not me.
No, I think it's probably me.
But
anyway. Yeah. So
all right, let's do the receivers here and then finish off with our injuries and close it up.
All right. So let me get back to the question board. Here we go. All right. So receivers, we got a battle of the mics here. Why is Pittman ranked higher at, well, let me double check this because I don't know if LeBlanc got it right.
He did.
Okay, so 7. All right. I think he just missed
the scapegoat.
No, scapegoat, because the first thing I looked at was quarterbacks, the first thing we talked about, and I just think you may have forgot to click on Joe's date to get the actual number rankings. Anyway, we got Pittman ranked higher at wide receiver 7 than Mike Evans at wide receiver 10 against the Cowboys, and Pittman would be going against Houston.
I mean, I think really what it comes down to is, Mike Evans is going to be just fine. He's a very talented receiver, but volume isn't really his thing anymore. He catches. He'll catch 70, well, really for a few years. Like he's going to catch like 70, 75 passes. He's going to catch a bunch of yards. Yeah, he'll probably, maybe he'll score this game. Probably will. At least I think he will. A top 10. You better score to be a top 10 guy. But again, Dallas isn't just a complete pushover. Although they allowed quite a few points to the receivers, but I also just think there's a lot more other options for Tom Brady in that offense, despite Godwin maybe not playing. You still got Julio. Gage is looking like he might be on his way to playing again this week, from what I think I read. And then you look at Indy, right? I mean, let's be real. After Pittman, I mean, we all like Paris Campbell, but Paris Campbell plays like a quarter, gets hurt, and then misses 6 games, and then plays another quarter, and then gets hurt, and it's done for the year.
Put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah,
I do not like Paris Campbell.
Alec Pierce, a rookie,
Nyheim Hines,
talented guy. But again, look, I get it. Hines, fine. I totally get it with Hines. But that's not taking away. And we also know, which is why Pittman started rising so drastically toward the end of draft season. People started figuring, or maybe remembering or factoring into the rankings, that Matt Ryan hyper targets his wide receiver 1. look, maybe that isn't going to happen in Indy. He's been with Atlanta his entire career, that's just kind of been their offense. But when Julio was the guy, he hyper targeted Julio, even with Ridley there, even if they were both healthy. When Julio moved on, it was all Ridley. He hyper targets his number one, and so Pittman's that hyper target number one. And come on, he gets Houston. Talk about a crappy defense. Yes. So Pittman, to me,
you're right about the crappy defense, but what if they, go up big and they don't need to throw? They don't need to hyper target.
There is that, but so game script plays a factor into rankings and into things like that. But you got to remember, there's a reason why teams get up big, right? And if Indy is going to get up big, you have to imagine Pittman is one of those reasons why. So he might get his early and then kind of be like out of the picture. But I don't feel like Indy's one of those teams where like they're gonna just like completely blow out a team. Houston could clearly be one of them, but Indy just never feels like a team where like they're just gonna destroy people because they're such a slow offense, and they don't spread it around and stuff like that. So like the games are always too closer than they should be.
Yeah. All right. Next up, perfect timing too. Gabe Davis, your wide receiver 23, is ranked higher than the number one target for the Bears, Mr. Darrell Mooney, at 28.
Darrell.
Sorry, Darnell. My contacts are bothering me. Sorry. I'm an idiot. I just can't read. Right? Sorry, I can't blame it on the contacts. It's been a day.
It's beer 4 that you're on. Yeah, it's been a day.
Yes, it is beer 4. Yes. I mean, you can make the argument that Davis has a tougher matchup here against the Rams, but then he just got like a 40-yard catch, so maybe not. Mooney's going against the Niners. What say you? I don't.
You don't know the question anymore. So the Rams. Watching the game here's the funny thing about the Rams, right? So they do a pretty good job of shutting down some teams' number one receiver, but after that, man, they got toasted last year. Yeah. 36.7 fantasy points to wide receiver last year in full PPR, and 7th worst. So not great. So Davis, like a lot of people, like you're not going to rank it this way just because the talent and the target share is going Diggs' way, or at least you think it will. But you look at. I mean, I had the stats pulled up, but then
Then I started reading the question way too long.
No, I switched. I just switched.
Lagging again? Nope.
So Diggs, again, the target share is there for Diggs, 8-5, but Gabe Davis has a touchdown. Gabe Davis has the yards,
88 yards.
I will say this: Diggs did beat his over for the yard total, which was 65.5. So. But that's the Jalen Ramsey effect, right? That's what happened. Yeah. So, Ramsey, this is actually, I guess you could say, a bad game for Ramsey, but he's kept him out of the end zone. He's not over 100 yards. There's still more game to play. But that's kind of was like the effect of putting Gabriel Davis over I get it, the number 2 over a Mooney, because you had to think some of these prime targets from Josh Allen were going to go Gabe Davis's way because of the Jalen Ramsey effect on the other side of the field. And we've seen that exact thing happen. And I like Mooney a lot. And, but San Fran actually, they weren't phenomenal against receivers either last year, but better quarterback throwing Davis the ball, better offense. We're talking about teams bracketing Pittman
question marks.
Yeah, we're talking about teams bracketing, receivers and things like that, to because there's a lack of talent behind them.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me teams aren't going to double Mooney? Who the hell else do the Bears have? I know they have 15.
Are you trying to tell me that Byron Pringle is not the name of a chip and that he's a wide receiver? Wait.
Can we just start calling him Barbecue Pringle?
I did.
Gotcha. That would be awesome.
Well played.
Done.
I'm going to change that. I'm going to change his name in Sleeper to Barbecue Pringle.
I like that, AJ. If I wasn't a Packers fan,
I'm not taking credit for it. Give it to him.
That wasn't AJ. That was me.
That was him.
Good job, Joe. Good job.
Actually had something worth of shit that made me laugh.
Give credit for it. What the hell's going on here?
I did give you credit for it.
Yeah, Mike didn't.
You're lucky AJ's a good friend. I was just going to say, if I wasn't a Packers fan, and this is another receiver on the Bears,
where do I name him?
I would think Aquanius St. Brown is a tongue twister, not a player.
No. Anyway, I don't want to keep going
Equanimous.
So I think we need to close it up here with the injuries. Let's rip through these here.
Yeah.
So I'll stop on a few of these and ask you your opinion, AJ. But I think for the most part, Zach Wilson, we already kind of talked about that, so we're not going to talk about that. He's out at least 4 weeks with a knee, so that's trouble for anybody who kind of took him as your QB2 I think I took him as QB3 in one of my best balls.
Yeah, I was looking
Rasball. J.K. Dobbins. This is an interesting one. I want to get your opinion on this. I've obviously got mine. You guys can check out my rankings, and to see who I think is going to be the guy if Dobbins does not go. But Dobbins is questionable with a knee. We already know Gus Edwards is out. They signed Drake, but they still got Mike Davis. Who are you trusting out of those two if Dobbins does not go?
If Dobbins does not go, I am trusting Justice Hill more than Mike Davis or Kenyon Drake. Because he's been there. He knows the offense. Both of these guys are new. We've seen what they are. They're better.
I should not have asked you this question.
I think Justice Hill
Cheddar is the best Pringle. Yeah, but the Byron and the barbecue. So I played with the bees. That's what I did, Dylan. Yeah, I get it. I get it. That's funny too. But
anyway, no, I think in the long run, I don't necessarily.
We're probably talking the 1 week, man. That's really what it comes down to.
Exactly. I don't think Justice Hill is going to be
Justice Hill's
a guy. he hasn't shown anything, but I think the fact that he at least knows the offense gives him a slight edge over the other guys. But I would not be surprised to see, the typical Lamar Jackson owns the rushing yards for this team, especially this week.
Yeah.
And maybe he actually passes it more. Because we don't know what we're getting with these running back retreads. Yeah. I don't like any of them.
Joe, any comment on the Pringle comment from Dylan Clemens?
I already did.
Oh, I didn't even see it. What was it?
Sour cream and cheddar is the best Pringle. I said I played the
That is correct.
I agree. But I played the barbecue with Byron, bees, put it together.
Yeah. Let's go Clemens.
Come on, man.
This fucking guy. Just kidding. Love you, Dylan. All right. Other running back injuries. What else we got?
Yeah. So real quick, I'm more of a Davis guy just because he's, as you're saying, he's with Hill. Davis has been there longer. He's been there all season, so he knows the offense a little better. I think Drake's probably better, but I just think Davis is the guy to get there. Chase Edmonds actually is questionable with a groin. I kind of think he's like gonna play, so I'm not really worried about that one too much. Kenneth Walker questionable for Seattle, probably not playing. Even if he does, I don't think there's gonna be enough there for him to not be confident in starting Penny. I actually have Penny at 21. Also, thankfully, ahead of Akers, which is going to be a terrible ranking for everybody here. But Walker's, I don't even think I have Walker ranked. I think he's probably not playing. So that's it for there. And then both of you are in this stupid cell. You can hardly read it.
Receivers,
get out of the cell. Can't read the wide receiver injuries.
Receivers, we got Drake London questionable with a knee. We got Lazard, who we mentioned, questionable with an ankle. We got Jalen Waddell.
Well, so there's an interesting one, right? With Lazard, right? We've heard this like undisclosed injury. It ends up being an ankle, like he got stepped on or something. So like now what happens, right? If Lazard doesn't go, who the hell is the receiver to trust there, if anybody? And do we drop Rodgers even farther? I think right now we're all kind of just like assuming Lazard plays. I've still got him 33, but man, if that doesn't happen, I don't know, man. Rodgers is probably going to slip to like QB 14, 15 for me. If with no Lazard and then like a bunch of rookies, no thanks, man. I don't even think, week one savior is going to do that. Sammy Watkins.
No, he's not. Will he help?
They'll all get a little boost, but no thanks, man. I'm out on that.
But I mean, I'm out on Rodgers this year as it is.
Kind of him. I mean, I've got him QB 10. He likes to embarrass the NFC North, so that's always fun.
Yeah,
but
that's great. It's nice that you have a commercial with auto insurance and you like to park your minivan all over Minnesota and Chicago and whatever the hell it is.
Rodgers.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
Those were the best.
But I mean, he just doesn't have the weapons. I mean, Aaron Jones is there. He is awesome. AJ Dillon is very good as well. That's like the comfort level.
Would you be at all surprised if Aaron Jones led the team in targets and receptions if Lazard misses? Because I would not be.
No, I'm already thinking that could happen for the whole year, anyways. Even
I don't think he's going to turn into an Austin Eckler type player. But when Lazard misses, I think that's going to be the way to go. All right, keep going, man.
All right, so again, Jalen Waddle or Waddell, however I pronounced it the first time. Yeah, Waddell. I was wrong the first time.
Did practice in full, by the way.
I can admit when I'm wrong, Joe. Questionable with a quad. He was cleared. Jacoby Myers is questionable with a knee. We got Michael Thomas questionable with a hamstring. Deontay Johnson questionable with a shoulder, and Russell Gage questionable with a hamstring. So let's go back to Deontay here. I mean, this is already going to be a tough matchup for Pittsburgh as it is. Then you're going to take their best receiver out.
Diggs just scored. That was a bomb too. There you go.
Fuck.
I wanted every piece of this Bills. Like I got so many shares.
As I said earlier in the show, go with your gut. I should have benched Stafford everywhere.
He's not playing horrible.
Less than 10 points.
But
in a flex and or super flex spot. He probably just cost me my matchup in Scottfish.
But well, didn't we learn our lesson in drafting Stafford and Scottfish 2 years ago?
No.
Nah.
No, because I did it again last year. I was like, it's pretty good.
Well, that was working out pretty well last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for those interception points. I don't know, man. Deontay's going to be one where we're going to have to watch it to the wire. You know what I mean? It's tough, man. Like, he end up getting? I think he ended up getting like surgery on it, like to fix it really quick or something. I forget.
Wait,
I feel like
are we talking about Stafford still or
Deontay Johnson?
Oh,
yeah. Oh no, shoulder injury. Sorry. So they're saying he's fine, but I mean, look, it's possible they just hold him out week 1 and just whatever. I mean, that definitely raises the ranking for Claypool and Pickens, but I still don't really love either one of them as like, guys that I would be trusting. Johnson's sort of their only trustworthy receiver, and I do like him a lot. The quarterback play there is really going to be the story of the season for everybody, but we're going to have to watch this one down to the wire. I mean, I think if he plays and you drafted him as one of your starters, I think you're just going to have to throw him in there. I'm not going to bench him if he's healthy.
I agree. If he's healthy and he's playing, this is going to be a tight matchup. You put him in because Pittsburgh could need to throw the ball a lot. So, last but not, of course, least, even though you're the catcher of football, the tight end position, we got Mr. Robert Tonyan is questionable with a knee. We've got Logan Thomas also questionable with a knee. We've got Zach Ertz. My calf hurts. And we've got George Kittle.
Yeah, this one's not looking good,
man. Bad news.
Yeah, George Kittle popped up on the injury report. Groin injury, not practicing, looking like he's actually trending toward not playing. I mean, I don't want to say it, but especially for like DFS, Ross Dwelly time. That dude was a monster. Like, he had a couple really good weeks last year.
I still might.
Nah, I probably just avoiding this whole situation. I really think what happens here if Kittle doesn't play is we're going to get even more Debo, more Mitchell, and more running Trey Lance. That's what's going to happen, in my opinion. Those three get massive boosts, in my opinion, and you're just gonna, you're just gonna love it. But yeah, I kid about Dwelly. Dwelly had he really didn't have any
years ago, I think, or 2, maybe 3 years ago. He was just like, holy shit.
Well, he had that 2 touchdown game in 2019. That's what everybody remembers. But
yeah.
Then you got to remember, it was actually 2019. So not very good.
All right.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I kid about Ross Dwelly, but he's not bad. All right, guys. Well, that is it for week 1. We are looking at a blowout at this point, 31-10. So we're going to get lots of passing. Maybe
good.
Higbee
just throw another interception.
How about how about they actually throw the ball out on Robinson? Maybe everybody was right and I was wrong, and Allen Robinson actually is washed and just I thought he just didn't want to play for the Bears, but maybe he actually is washed. Who knows at this point?
I don't know.
But
week 1. Let's not overreact.
1 target for 1 catch and 12 yards.
Fantastic.
That's not good.
Fantastic.
That's not good.
80-yard touchdown right here.
Yeah.
Come on.
You actually might be ahead of me. Oh, was that the Higbee?
That was the Higbee.
The Higbee bonked right off his. Yeah, I always forget you're using the.
No, I'm not. I'm not all the way back up to live yet. Hold on.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, Robinson's got to get his what together. So, all right, guys. thanks for tuning in. And remember to subscribe to the site. Get those custom league questions into us on our Discord, man. That's the only way to get them in to us this year. And I'm telling you, we're gonna help you win your leagues. I promise. So get in there, fantasy6pack.net/plans. Use promo code F6P early for 25% off. So
only a few left, people.
Yep.
Jump on it now. Or you
see y'all next week, and good luck in week 1. Peace.
Yep.